A lot of Charlestonians and South Carolianians really haven't seen him since he lost his opportunity last May to become a United States Congressman from District 1. Now, Curtis Bostic is talking for the first time since last May in this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. You know, Mr. Bostic, I want to refresh your memory because it was actually last year when you came down to the Charleston City Market and you actually went to a meeting at Kaminsky's, and I was next door at Market Street Deli, and I told you that I wanted to interview you for the web show.
I do recall.
Yes. And you know, the reason why I wanted to interview you, because a lot of Charlestonians really haven't seen you since last May, when you lost your opportunity to become the United States Congressman for District 1. And you said something very interesting in your concession speech that time. You said, well, by the grace of God, I'm going to tell you, I like being Curtis. I really do. You later said, I'm content. I'm content because God has placed a peace in my heart and a satisfaction in my life that is irreplaceable. I hope you know it. I hope you know what that's about. Tell me, as we sit here maybe a year, almost a year later, are you content with everything?
Well, I'm content with me. I'm content with where God has allowed me to be. And I can't say that I'm content with the direction our nation is going, and I don't think any honest American would be. I'm not content with the fact that we have homeless people and we have hungry people. I'm not content with the persecuted believers around the world. But I am at rest in my heart. Yes, I am quiet and content. I'm very thankful for the grace of God in my life.
Yes, indeed. And also, I remember watching that speech. You actually led the crowd to God Bless America. I'm wondering, what are your other memories of that particular night?
Well, I remember the overwhelming feeling of appreciation for not just people that had worked in our campaign, but for other Americans that really cared about our country, that cared about where we're going as a nation, and that are willing to expend of themselves. You know, Quintin, I fear that among some there is a sense of despair and despondency, like that they're not happy with the direction that America has taken, but they feel like there's no use working to try to make it different. And I remember that night being so encouraged that there is a host of people out there who care about the direction of this country and are willing to give of themselves to change that. People who help with education, and people who volunteer in soup kitchens, and people who go to their church every Sunday with an attitude that I'm going to welcome visitors, and people who help unexpected mothers who have children that are kind of surprise children, or the elderly.
Yeah.
Those kind of people that still have hope that America can be better.
And let's stay with April 2nd, because you said something also interesting that I want to talk to you about. You said, quote, I tell you that success and failure tonight is not measured by this moment in time. I congratulate the governor, Mark Sanford, on his race. What a great job they did, and how much confidence he has earned from people because of acts of fiscal responsibility. He's been good with the money, and for that I am grateful, and it was an honor to run alongside him. Congratulations. Campaign well run. We wish you the very, very best. Tell me, now that Mark Sanford is congressman, what letter grade would you give him as far as performance?
Quintin, a C. I like Mark as a person.
Yeah.
And I think Mark has remarkable capability. Unfortunately, I just haven't seen anything out of his office. The campaign was run with the notion that because of prior experience and because of tenure and those things, that he would, I think the quote was, hit the ground running. And I just haven't seen anything come out of that office yet. I think Mark votes right. I just think we need more than someone who votes right. I think we need standard bearers. I think we need leaders.
And so let's fast forward your speech a little bit, because you said something relevant that is really resonating right now. You said, quote, it's about the future of First District, and it's about the ideas that you have brought to this district. You have regenerated in so many the American idea that we, as Mr. Smith goes to Washington, common Americans can make a difference, and you have. You have believed in America. You have believed in what could be done. So let's say if, for instance, Mr. Bostic goes to Washington. What could be done within your time frame, within your bill? What can you do?
Well, the first thing that I believe is that the first district needs someone to exercise the bully pulpit.
Sure.
The first district needs someone who will be out among us keeping us abreast and informed of what's going on in our neighborhood,
Sure.
and helping us to understand those dynamic issues. So that would be the first thing. Number one, I believe that in a very brief period of time, someone could use that bully pulpit to educate and to inform the people, and to empower them to become involved in the national process.
And speaking of Washington, when you ran your particular campaign, you really had a lot of heavyweights. Ann Coulter, Rick Santorum, in which he actually said this, quote, "Washington needs some fresh faces at this critical time in our country, and I'll make the argument, very critical time for our party, put forth a strong principled conservative." Tell me this, when did you realize during the campaign that the race is really for real?
Boy, that is a great question, Quintin. And probably during the initial primary
Right.
part, when there were all 17 of us.
People, Jesus.
The amazing race, I
Yeah,
call it.
exactly.
Yeah, the amazing race. With 17 of us. And I realized the amount of effort it was going to take to stand out from that pack.
Yeah.
So as we kept accreting people, it dawned on me that you're going to have to do something different to be distinctive.
Yes, because you had, I mean, Teddy Turner, Ray Nash, maybe Thomas Ravenel.
We had a host of people, yeah.
Yes. And, you know, also, too, take me back to the time when, you know, obviously you had to run off. And because, obviously, you outdistanced Larry Grooms for second place. And then you realized that you were going to run off against Mark Sanford. Tell me, how nerve-wracking was that?
I don't know that it was nerve-wracking. It was intense.
Okay.
We knew how we were going to run our race.
Yeah, of course.
And that was defined both by our financial resources and by just the demographics of everything. We knew it was going to be intense. We knew that Mark was a great candidate.
Of course.
He presents himself well. He had money. And so we knew it was going to be difficult.
Yeah. And, you know, let's go back to behind the scenes of the debate. I'm wondering, how did you prepare yourself for that?
I researched those issues that had been important in our community.
Of course.
And then I read Joshua 1. To be truthful with you, I stood in the debate prep room.
Yeah.
And I read Joshua 1. And God commands Joshua, don't be afraid.
Of course not.
Be courageous.
Mm-hmm.
Trust in me. And that's how I prepared myself.
And, you know, even before thinking about going to Washington, we all knew that you were a member of Charleston County Council from 2000 until 2008. You actually chaired a lot of committees and worked alongside Tim Scott. Put on your memory hat and tell me, what are your memories of serving on council?
Well, good and bad memories. I think service on county council may be one of the most difficult posts.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody has your phone number.
That's true.
And in that sense, difficult. But it was also rewarding because you could actually do things. I mean, perhaps things that may be insignificant to some but important. I could get your garbage picked up.
Of course.
I could get your garbage picked up. I could encourage the sheriff's office to come by and patrol your house a little bit more. I could do those things that were important to people in their
Right.
lives, but didn't change the national flavor of things by any stretch.
And, you know, if I'm correct, you really didn't have a lot of political experience before council. So tell me, when did you realize that, hey, whether it be current events or a personal situation, when did you need to jump in to really serve the people, you know?
Yeah. I guess I've always had this long-standing belief that we as Americans have a responsibility to be engaged. One reason why I joined the Marine Corps.
That's right, that's right.
We have a responsibility to be engaged and to give to our community. And when I found that I had the opportunity in 2000, I just believed that I had a decent shot at it. It's something that people just as good as I may not have had the opportunity to do. And so I think that gave me a responsibility to try.
And let's walk down memory lane to 1987. It was a hot summer on Paris Island. Walk me through what happened next.
Well, finished up my time at Paris Island and then got that initial training that the Marine Corps gives you before we entered the ranks.
Yes, yes.
Ultimately served in Desert Storm.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience to see, again, good Americans rise up and want to make a difference, willing to even sacrifice to make that happen.
And so, I mean, I know a lot of people who are in the military right now, and, you know, they were high school members of mine, and I've seen the military really, you know, really brought them up. Tell me, when did you become Curtis Bostic?
I'm still becoming Curtis Bostic.
Okay.
I'm still in if I were going to look back over my life, there are several major points of transition. The first would have probably been 1969.
Wow.
Back when our family was splitting up. My dad had a problem with alcohol.
Same thing with my stepfather.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Life was really difficult at home. My dad earned a good wage, but perhaps wasn't the father that now he would have wished he would have been because of alcohol. My mom, in desperation, went to a local church, and a lady told her that she could have a new life in Jesus Christ, and that if she would admit she was a sinner, put faith in Christ, her life could be different.
Right.
A few weeks later, my dad came home. He'd been away from us. He came home to gather his belongings. And it just happened to be that while he was there to get his belongings, that the same lady who talked to my mother pulled up in the driveway. And she gave him that story, how one can have a new life in Jesus Christ by confessing your sin and putting faith in Christ.
Right.
My dad did that, and it was an immediate change. And so the first thing that I would look to as a seminal event that made Curtis what he is was that day when God's grace reached into my family's life and caused our family to be united and to begin a positive trajectory.
That is awesome.
My wife would probably be another, coming to meet Jenny, and
yes.
Probably then finally the Marine Corps. It shapes you in a way that nothing else can.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of which, fill in the blanks for me, being married to Jenny has been?
Being married to Jenny has been an unbelievable blessing.
Yes. Missionary work is?
Really enjoy that. Yeah, we have an organization called Remember.
Yeah.
We do work in 6 different countries of persecution. We have a safe house in Liberia. We have property in Sudan. Actually had a team supposed to be building in Sudan, but in Juba, where our property is, of course, civil war has broken out. We have 2 orphanages in Burma. And so it's been just wonderful to be involved in the lives of persecuted Christians.
Your 5 children are?
My 5 children, Daniel, Elizabeth, Joseph, Jonathan, and Stephen. I have 2 at college, Daniel and Elizabeth.
Yes.
And then 3 at home.
Oh, good.
And my boys are becoming of the age where they're less children and more good friends.
Yeah.
And I'm becoming more a coach
yes.
than I am a parent. I'm in that transition time.
Yeah. Being an IFR rated pilot is?
Being an IFR rated pilot is a great resource. So I'm able to fly places to meet with clients that otherwise I wouldn't be able to do. So it's just a great resource. It's a good tool.
Yes, indeed. Shooting sports is?
Shooting sports is great time with my boys.
Yes.
I'm becoming a member actually of the Palmetto Gun Club this evening.
Congratulations.
And it's just another opportunity to be with my boys, to do something that they enjoy.
Motorcycles are?
Motorcycles are mentally quieting. It's an opportunity for me to kind of be, you're isolated, you're focused on what you're doing, and it's an opportunity to be at peace.
Yes. That's the way I feel when I'm out running a few miles.
Yeah, exactly. Probably just like that.
That's right. Yeah, being a lawyer is?
Being a lawyer is a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
People only come to me because they're in conflict, so I hate that part.
Hey.
But I love the opportunity to resolve those conflicts and to be part of that.
And you hope that they can keep a relationship with you beyond those problems.
Sure.
Going to the College of Charleston was?
Going to College of Charleston was a great start.
Yes.
Good school, very diverse, which is in itself a flavoring experience in life.
Appalachian Bible College was?
Appalachian Bible College was where I learned that life is about service. Life is about giving to other people. And in giving to other people, somehow God takes care of us.
That's true. That is so true. One thing that people don't know about you is?
One thing that people don't know about me is that I taught my son how to drive a Standard on the Autobahn. So.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing. In 5 to 10 years, you hope to be doing what?
I would like to be in Congress.
Yeah.
Still would love to fulfill that, and I would like to be more engaged with our nonprofit work.
Of course, yeah.
I would love to start orphanages around the world.
I think you're already doing that,
We do, and we'd love to do more of that.
And you will. You will. Hey, Curtis Bostic, this was so great.
It was a pleasure, Quintin.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.